Welcome to I Didn't Know That, a show about things I didn't know. And we are with our engineer at Leighton Media, Tony Abfalter. Tony,
Hi.
Thank you for being on the show with me. So we're going to talk about how a radio station works. You know, I worked for this company for over 22 years, and I don't really know how a radio station works. So,
it works, right?
It works, and I know you have a lot to do with that. So let's start with the tower. Now, this is part of a tower, and
Yep.
Is that an original antenna?
Yep, so that's a low power antenna that we'd use on our smaller FMs. So like our translators, something not very big. Our other stations like KBOT and KRCQ use much bigger antennas,
So
size-wise.
what is coming out of that?
It's basically throwing pixies, if you will. It's a radio wave. So the antenna is cut and tuned and designed for a specific frequency. So in the case of KRCQ, 102.3, so megahertz.
Okay, so then how does the signal get to there to be broadcast then?
Sure. So we feed it up the tower with a feed line. It's like a TV coax, except bigger.
Like a cable?
Yep.
The old style cable?
Yep.
Okay.
So a little bit bigger because it has to handle our power, and then it's hooked up to a radio transmitter, which actually produces a signal.
Okay.
So it takes audio that we send it, and then through an exciter and stuff like that, it amplifies it and produces what you actually hear over the radio.
Okay, so then the signal, you know, sometimes when you're in a certain building, you can't get a radio station. And so what is, like, does that signal bounce, move? Like, or is it just a straight line? And if it...
So different objects reduce radio waves differently. So like a simple building that's made out of wood is going to be less susceptible than a brick building to like radio waves diggergating. And then like if you're driving through like a big city like Minneapolis with a lot of tall buildings, you get what's called multipass. So it's actually radio signals arriving at different times to your radio, and that's why it sounds weird. So there's a couple little phenomenon that happen with it.
Okay, so now next I want to take a peek at this room we have over in our new office. There's a bunch of stuff in there.
Sure.
What is it doing? Can we take a look in
Yep.
here? So I don't know if you want to look at here or go in the back, because there's a ton of cords in the back, but maybe start here.
So going back from our transmitter, we use what's called a STL, a studio to transmitter link. In the case of right now, we're sending KDLM out via IP audio, and then the FM signals right now are being sent out via IP as well, so internet. But they will also have a radio STL, so it's like another miniature radio station, but it sends a signal point to point. So that way we can receive that signal at the transmitter site and then rebroadcast it on the right frequency.
Well, you lost me at IP, but...
So we basically right now leverage the public internet, which is a industry standard over the last 10 years just because the internet has become robust and reliable. It's not like the old days where it would go out, or you might not
dial up.
Yeah, or you might not have a dial-up connection. So with that, in a lot of cases, radio stations have gone over to leveraging the internet from an expense standpoint because it's far cheaper to do it that way. And then just from a easeability point, you don't really need a lot of technical knowledge to put one of those miniature radio stations to send the audio out to the transmitter with. It keeps simple, plus, I mean, everybody has IT and stuff, so anybody with a IT background could set up one of these.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to be a radio engineer in order to do it. So.
Well, there's a lot of cords, and what is all happening? And did you have to set up all of this?
Yep. So that's what connects all the offices together. Each network, or I should say each networking device, has got a color code. So like blue is our regular like office stuff, your computer, your telephones and stuff like that. Green is our automation system, which is what plays the audio over the radio stations. And then the orange, without getting too nerdy, is how we transport our audio in the radio station itself. So it's actually done over a network.
Okay. Well, I just want to take a peek in the back here just to
Sure.
see all these cords. It's actually kind of chaotic. But so I see, we have our 4 radio stations, or 5
Yep.
actually, if I can count. I'm not sure if I can count very well, but so are we monitoring even our perm station from here?
We're monitoring our perm
Okay.
station, and our perm station can be broadcast from here in an emergency.
Okay. So now, is this our engineering room?
Yeah, this is the rack room. We're still trying to get everything cleaned up from the build.
But this just looks like crazy to me.
Yep, there's over 11 miles of wire ran into this building.
11 miles.
Yep, 11 miles is the count so far.
Oh my gosh. And then will TV3 eventually be in here?
Yep, TV3's got rack space down there for all your new equipment you'll be getting, and yeah, and you guys got a special color. You're red. Because you guys got a faster network, so.
Wow, this is really, really fascinating, and I'm so glad it's you doing all of this and not me. And yeah, it's really interesting. And so, where did you get your interest in this?
So I had my interest probably, it depends how you look at it, probably since I was a little baby. I started playing with electronics. I had 2 parents, of course, that really didn't know what to do with me.
Sure.
Because they were both jocks, but they did their best in trying to get me the stuff I needed to take apart and things like that. So, it started out early on. I started my actual career working at KVSC in St. Cloud.
Okay.
At the college radio station, and then worked for a radio company over in Wisconsin, and came over here, so.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show with us, and this is, to me, it's somewhat of a confusing subject, but I hope you learned a little something. I know I did, even though I'm still a little confused, but that's pretty much par for the course with me. So, hope you enjoyed.